Hi, I'm Marcus Jones from EW, and welcome to Scene Sealers. Today we have Kayla Cromer from Everything's Gonna Be Okay on Freeform. Kayla, how's it going?
Good, I'm excellent. I've been a lifelong reader of Entertainment Weekly, so this is just like really exciting.
Oh my God, that's awesome to hear. But yeah, to start, we are big fans of the show, and the first thing we want to say, thinking of the role Matilda, looking back on when the role came to your attention, what was that like to see a role that reflected your experience?
To see a role like this, it was a very surreal moment for me. I just kept rereading it and rereading it. And after reading the pilot script, I just wanted this role so bad because I've never read a script, let alone a character quite like Matilda before.
Yeah. And it should be said too that Matilda existing is an important step forward for TV, but she's also just a great character full of nuance and humor. What do you personally like about Matilda?
Things I like about Matilda is the way she is so strong-willed as she navigates through a neurotypical world. Her unique perspective on love, family, friends, or acceptance of her autism. It's just very real and authentic.
Yeah. And you mentioned looking at the pilot as well. Thinking back to the funeral scene that's at the start of the series and sets a tone for what Matilda is like as a character and the stories being told. What do you remember looking back at that scene?
The eulogy scene was definitely the most touching for me in the pilot. It always reminded me of my grandma's eulogy because when she passed away, I did hers. The energy was really similar in adding humor to make people laugh during such a sad time because sometimes having a laugh is just part of grieving. It can just lighten the mood during such a sad time. So it just felt really close and personal to me.
Yeah. Um, Going into what happens during the first season, you guys cover topics like applying for college and consent, and it's told in a way that hadn't been done before on TV because Matilda is autistic. For you, what are some highlights from that first season?
Some of the highlights from the first season for me and Matilda was probably her crush on Luke and her first real heartbreak, which I assume was her first real heartbreak. Consenting to sex and advocating for herself, navigating New York City by herself. It's just she had so many firsts this season crammed into one short show. There was just so many moments, but those are the ones that are most highlighted in my mind.
Yeah. And you mentioned that too, thinking about exploring her sexuality and consent, like having Matilda having room to do that is another way the show is really adding to the stories we tell on TV. What are your feelings about getting to dive into that part of your character, really exploring her sexuality and not just and how it relates to living on the spectrum?
It's strange watching how your character is evolving this way, but it's a great opening up conversations on consent, sexual exploration, drinking aspects amongst teenagers with disabilities and without.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Um, the creator, Josh Thomas, who also co-stars on the show with you, shared that you contribute life experience to Matilda's story. What have you pulled from your experience for Matilda while you were playing her?
Some mannerisms, mispronunciations of words. It's also part of the table reads and the rehearsals. He can write it how I would say or do something more for an authentic vibe. Like he'll take notes of what I do during a table read, or how, like, for example, season one I mispronounced. Oh, we're probably gonna do it now, but uh, when I said Nicholas, your presence is requested in the master boudoir or something, I kept on saying boudoir. because of
Yeah.
how it's spelled. That was done during the table read, so he just wrote that in as like a moment for Matilda that she had a hard time pronouncing it like I couldn't during the table read.
Yeah, that's great though, because I remember that moment. And just too thinking about working with the cast, what has it been like to build this family unit with Jonah and Maeve and Adam?
Amazing. The chemistry was there from the beginning, even from the casting process. We support each other on and off the set. It's literally like a family. Even when we're not on camera, we're just like a family in general, just because of how close we became.
Yeah. And I think I got that question wrong because I believe I meant to say Josh.
Yeah, you said Jonah. I was like, wait, Jonah, did I miss something?
That's on me. Don't worry about that. Things move fast here. You gotta adapt. But you still nailed it. So the next thing I wanted to ask, though, and thinking back to when the show was beginning, and speaking to your real life, you disclosed, excuse me, at the Freeform Summit that you are on the spectrum, and I saw stories about how you thought your honesty could impact your career, but instead you're really changing the industry. What changes do you hope to see?
The entertainment industry is about being creative. I'd like to see diverse teams behind the scenes, writers, actors booking roles that aren't written as disabled, or booking roles that aren't disabled and disability isn't entirely focused on the character.
Mhm. And just running on that too, I think we've talked about this a lot, but what does getting to play Matilda really mean to you?
Getting to play Matilda means that, well, it means the world to me. It means the world to me. Matilda has changed my life, and fans love her too. So many teens are looking for acceptance and inclusion in this world, and I just feel so honored to have been cast to bring her to life and changing actors' lives by pursuing this role, as well as inspiring girls with disabilities of all ages. It's incredible.
Yeah. And thinking of that too, recently, Josh revealed on Twitter that he's also on the spectrum. I wanted to know, what are your thoughts on that? Have you two had conversations about that at all? And does being on a TV show with two leads who are on the spectrum feel even more like you're living through one of those changes you hope to see?
I am so proud of Josh for taking the steps he did. Yes, we did. I love Josh. He is very, very dear to me. He is essentially my big brother. I'm an only child, so he's automatically my big brother, definitely. I think everything's going to be okay. Has broken down inclusion barriers in so many ways. I mean, Josh just added to it by a whole another level by coming out with this. But who knows what's next at this point?
Oh my gosh, I know. Um, how have your interactions with fans been?
My interactions with fans have honestly been so positive, and the fan mail touches me on so many emotions. Girls, women's parents are finally seeing the female portrayal of autism and disability that they've longed for. I'm so touched to see girls sending me DMs or in comments about them coming out with their differences to me, whether invisible or not. It just feels like, well, I am a role model, but it's still like coming to terms with that I am one, just because of all these messages that I'm getting. It just, sometimes the messages just want to make me tear up because they're so like heartwarming and thanking me. It's been an unforgettable experience, and it's just going to keep going farther, and I can't wait for it.
That's so amazing to hear. And of course, we're now going into season 2 of Everything's Gonna Be Okay. Looking forward for Matilda, what can you share about what's next for her and what's next for the show?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. What I can mention, that's always the thing. let's see. Matilda is rethinking her life goals after the events of season one, trying to bounce back after New York City, wants to reconnect with old friends, and obviously more hookups, which the clips have shown. So that's definitely going to be happening quite a bit.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I truly can't wait for people to see it. I already got to watch a little bit and I'm dying for more. So thank you so much for talking to us about it.
Yeah, of course.
Once again, I'd like to thank our guest, Kayla Cromer. Everything's going to be okay. Season 2 airs Thursdays at 10 p.m. on Freeform and will appear next day on Hulu. See you later.
Bye, guys.